Last Epoch multiplayer patch 0.9 is right around the corner. It drops March 9th, 2023, and you can already enjoy the patch before that tomorrow in the free open beta weekend. Literally anybody can play, whether you have the game or not. It is happening February 23rd, Thursday at 10 a.m. CT Central Time, 5 p.m. Central European Time. Now, what are the reasons why you should check out this multiplayer beta open weekend? Now, one, it is totally free to play. You can play it if you don't have the game. You can play it if you have the game. It doesn't matter. Enjoy and get a first glance at Last Epoch, which is, in my opinion, one of the best upcoming RPGs there is. Reason number two, I have played it myself already in both of the other events, like the January 27th to 29th event, as well as the February 2nd to 12th event. While there were a couple of smaller hiccups here and there, multiplayer does work pretty well. All things are server authoritative. There are servers all around the globe. This does, however, not mean in this case that you have to be on the same server whenever you basically log into the game with a multiplayer character, and then when you invite somebody from your friends list, which is super intuitive to do as well, then he or she will basically join your server, which can, of course, in some situations mean that when your friend is like living on the other side of the world, that he or she will have like terrible ping. However, you two even being able to play together at all is, in my opinion, like an amazing feature that not many other games actually have. Like many other games are rather like region locked, right? You can only like play with people in your region and you cannot play with other people from other regions. In LE, there is basically full open multiplayer. You might have like some like ping issues depending on like where your friend lives and where you live and so on, but you can play multiplayer with whomever you want to. Another reason for me why you should play this weekend is because you can, after playing, give the developers your feedback, and the developers are, in my opinion, like one of the best developers when it comes to like listening to the community, or at least like considering ideas that the community like brings back to them. They have, of course, their own vision of the game, but they also like are very communicative on Reddit or on the forums. You can post their feedback there and you can be sure they will read it and at least consider it. For example, when it comes to the trading and gifting system, right, we had before this blog post here, which was discussing the item gifting system, and is also the system that is currently in place in multiplayer and will also be in place in this like free to play multiplayer beta weekend. However, they have since then actually revised their system a little bit, or like revised their vision a little bit. So right now how it works is whenever you are in a party with another friend, you can then gift the item to that friend, but you cannot gift it back. And also, if you aren't in the party with that friend, you cannot like gift it to him when he like joins later and you found the item already before he joined your team. This also meant that the original like bazaar idea that they had is not in place right now. However, they posted this yesterday, a trade development update post here, which basically talks about all the feedback that they have gotten. Obviously, like some people were kind of upset about like no open trading, no bazaar being there at all. And well, they have explained why they don't want open trade. They want like Last Epoch to be a game where loot and drops matter. And that is also true in Last Epoch. If you want to play a game where loot matters, Last Epoch is one of them. But of course, there are still people that would like to have more open trade. So they have now presented this new feature, or like this new idea, the item faction feature, with the Merchants Guild on one side and the Circle of Fortune on the other side. So you can either choose to be like in the Merchants Guild or like in the Circle of Fortune, and you can choose that for every single character. So you can have like one character in Merchants Guild, one in Circle of Fortune, and so on. However, all the items that you find on your like Merchants Guild's characters, right, those are basically like only shareable between other characters that are also in the same guild, right? So your characters that are in the guild can share with the same characters that you have in the guild, and they can also like share with other people that are also in the Merchants Guild. Merchants Guild basically means more or less like free open trade for almost all items, depending on like how high your tier is within that guild. They explain that, for example, down here with like reputation ranks, you have like different ranks, and like the higher your rank is within that guild, for which you can farm some kind of like fame systems, kind of like be like some kind of like basic progression system in the game. And depending on your rank, you can like trade more and more items. You won't always be able to like trade all items, I believe, but it's pretty much more or less like kind of open trade, except you can still only like trade once. So it is not as free open trade as Path of Exile. This is their current vision for basically trade, for more or less like open trade. But if you rather want to play something like similar to like private leagues, right, you only want to play with like a certain group of people, or even solo self-found, then the Circle of Fortune Guild will be the one for you, or like for that character, right, which basically gives you like higher drop chances, and also makes all items found when you are in the Circle of Fortune only be tradable with people that are also in Circle of Fortune, or like with characters that are in Circle of Fortune, which automatically means all your other characters that are in the same guild, but also basically anyone from your friend list that you invite to your party, and then you can trade with them technically all items from Circle of Fortune. Of course, you can still gift them all the items that you have found while they were in your party anyway. And on top of that, you will be also able to trade items that you found while being in the same guild if you drop these resonances. For example, you already have an item in your stash and you know my friend wants to use this item, right? But he didn't play with me in the group when I got the item. So how can I still give him the item? You just play like an extended period of time with that friend, and then eventually either you or your friend will like drop this resonance or like a resonance, and if you use this one on your item, then you can basically trade it with him or like gift him the item that you wanted to gift him in the first place. Please note that this guild system and this resonance system is not in the current open beta yet. However, if you like this system, or if you don't like the system, and or if you like or don't like the current system that is in the open beta, feel free to post your feedback, because yeah, this is a developer that listens to the community, that listens to you, to your voice. So that is also one of the reasons why you want to play this open beta weekend. And if you're like still unsure whether you should buy Last Epoch or not, depending on like how much you like trade to be in the game, then also let the developers know what you think about their visions here that I've presented here, like their new like ideas that they have like come up with depending on the feedback of the community. Reason number 4 for me personally to play Last Epoch also this weekend, or like in general, it's just like Last Epoch is a ridiculously fun game. It is, when it comes to like combat fluidity, I think actually like almost top notch, like the best RPG honestly. Having played like Grim Dawn and Path of Exile or like some Diablo as well, and Titan Quest and other games, I would say Last Epoch has the most like fluent combat out of all of those games actually. Graphics and so on, or like animations, are getting better and better with every update as well. Remember, this is still early access, it will be better, it already has improved a lot over the years. It also has, in my opinion, the best crafting, the best like base crafting system, the best easy to understand crafting system, the best like feels good crafting system, especially if you're like a, I don't know, like rather casual RPG player. If you're like a hardcore PoE crafter, then there is still some crafting that you can do in the end game that is a bit more complex with like the dungeons and exalted items and legendary potential and so on. There is tons of room there. And also, I mean, the game isn't even out yet. Path of Exile didn't have like super complex crafting at first really either, right? It got like more and more layers over time, and Last Epoch probably will get more and more systems in the future as well, we'll see. But like the foundation is just amazing when it comes to crafting. Like it is, in my opinion, like the crafting system that like feels the best out of like pretty much all the RPGs that I've played personally. Reason number 5, Last Epoch is a game all about like character customization as well. You have very nice passive trees with like tons of different like stats that you can take, tons of different like choices. You have skill trees for literally every single skill, which have like tons of customization in them, but still none of it like feels as overwhelmingly complex or like as overwhelming for like a new player as like the PoE passive tree maybe, or like the flood of like 50,000 like skill gems in the vendor, right? And you don't even know like what to pick. Elisa kind of like holding your hand when you're like new to the game, but there is like some really good complexity in there as well. So I don't know, to me it kind of is like the best of two worlds. Sure, there may be some balance issues here and there, but I mean every RPG does have balance issues, and then early access ARPG does have that even more. But I mean, yeah, the developers are listening to all the feedback. So now do keep in mind that in this early access open beta weekend, you can only play the first 4 chapters all the way to Admiral Harton, which does still give you like plenty of room to test out all the masteries. Of course, like you can choose all the masteries after Act 3, so you have an entire act set after that in which you can check out like all the masteries like Shaman, etc, etc. All the ones that are in 0.9 at least, so not the Falconer, not the Warlock, and not the Runemaster, but all others you can test and check out. If you want to play more than that, you will have to buy the game, and you will have to wait until March 9th, which is when the 0.9 patch actually drops. But you can check out everything multiplayer related, and the gifting system of course as well. Now if you would like to buy the game, you can check out the Nexus link down below in the description of this video. And also if you would like to play this beta, this open weekend, Then also check out the link down below to sign up right now and to gain access to the open weekend. I'll see you in Iterra, and I hope you will have fun this weekend. Take care.